Hey, so I am going to make something fabulous. And as you may be gathering, I cook pretty much everything I eat from scratch. And it takes some time, and it's good for you. I mean, I don't get a lot of the preservatives and whatnot. And also it's a lot cheaper. But it takes time, it takes a little planning, which is sometimes difficult. So I have a few minutes. I am going to start a fabulous thing, bread pudding. $2. This is a Renaissance grain bread. And what I'm going to do is cut this up. And I have experimented with different ways of cutting it up, and I have found that I cut it, well, I'll show you how I cut it. Little pieces, not cubes. And put it in a pan, which is the pan I'll be cooking it in. And then let the bread dry out. That is the main secret for good bread pudding, is that the bread is absolutely dry. It's got some tenacity to it. What I'm going to do with this is put it in the oven, and put the oven on at like 120, 130, and leave it for an hour, and then maybe stir it up a little bit and make sure that everything is really dry. Then once it is dry, if you run out of steam for that day and you can't finish it, you can just leave it in the oven, and the dried bread will keep for quite a while. It doesn't get any drier. Several days have passed. I made pizza, which I will also make a video of, and I didn't feel like finishing the bread pudding. As I said, once you have the bread dry, it'll just keep. And so I put it in the oven for about an hour, around, I don't know, 130, 150 degrees, something like that. And it was mostly dry. So I put it back in the oven, and then, of course, being out of sight, I forgot about it. And preheated the oven, and lo and behold, they were in there, and so they got even drier. And now you can see they are crispy, crunchy, very, very dry, and ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a big bowl and put the bread cubes into the bowl. And I do that so that I can butter up the pan. I put the breadcrumb back in the pan. Actually, while I have these out, I'm going to put some raisins on there. And put that aside. And I get out my largest mixing bowl. And into this, I am going to put 6 eggs. Okay, wow, I'm getting low on eggs. Oh, there it goes. I was doing so well. Now you have to have the correct tool for beating eggs. It's called a fork. Done. Put the eggs aside, and we get the big Pyrex measuring thing. Now, I only use dry milk. Well, actually, I have some canned milk up there, but I rarely use that. Getting in the amount, I mean, you really have to be exact about the amount of dried milk, and it's about that much or so. A little more. Into this, I am going to pour in some water. That's about right. I find when you mix dried milk, put the dried milk in first, put in the water, ignore the foam, and then let it sit for a minute. Into this, I'm going to put some sugar. Probably about a half a cup. This is a third of a cup. As always, I advocate putting, look at that. As always, I advocate putting a little bit of salt in because things don't taste right if you don't put a little salt in. You just want the sugar to dissolve. I ran out of nutmeg. Put a good amount of cinnamon in there. That's probably a teaspoon. Ooh, some pure vanilla. Don't buy the imitation crap. And maybe half a teaspoon. I do have some cloves. I'm just going to put a dash of cloves in there. Or two. Last thing, and this is it. This really is an easy thing to make, is you dump that in here. That's it. And that's it. If I were more intelligent, I would have been preheating the oven so I could put it right in. But I forgot. So I'm going to preheat the oven. Approximately 44 minutes later, we have a bread pudding. Now the way to tell if it's done is it'll kind of puff up in the middle. And if you stick something in there, the custard has curdled. There's no liquid. This is done. Ooh. And there it is. Walnuts. I could have put walnuts in it, but I forgot.